Hello and welcome to Canal Ter. I'm Ayse Zekai with the Zek Report with the weekly news and magazine programme. I'd like to first of all start with COVID-19 and why is coronavirus so deadly? We have faced viral threats before, including pandemics, yet the world does not shut down for every new infection or flu season. So what is it about the coronavirus? What are the quirks in its biology that pose a unique threat to our bodies and our lives? In the early stages, the virus can deceive the body. It could be running rampant in our lungs and airways, yet our immune system thinks everything's okay. Not like the SARS virus that hit us in 2002, where signs of it was immediate. It behaves like a hit-and-run killer. From the moment it enters our body, it takes at least a week before it processes so much to the point that we need hospital care. That's why it's vital that we cover our nose and mouth with a mask, wash our hands at all times, and keep a distance. And don't forget, the hit-and-run virus just moves on to the next victim. So, as no vaccine available as yet, all NHS workers are putting their lives at risk. So it's vital to take this disease seriously. And as I said before, use face masks, wash hands and keep space as to protect yourself and others. £3 billion are to be invested and 32 billion items of PPE to be used. NHS staff are on the edge of exhaustion as the second wave takes deep root across parts of UK. Thousands of NHS workers are struggling to recover from what they have already been through. And worldwide, we are walking on economic tightrope and with the toughest restrictions. Now, continuing with COVID-19, the UK is pushing ahead to be the first nation to carry out human challenge studies where up to 90 healthy people will be deliberately exposed to COVID-19. The trials, which could begin in January 2021, aim to speed up the race to get a COVID-19 vaccine. The government is putting 33.6 million towards the groundbreaking work. Safety will be a number one priority, experts insist. The plans will need ethical approval and sign-off from regulators before they can go ahead. Worldwide health, thousands of scientists and health experts have joined a global movement warning of grave concerns about COVID-19 lockdown policies. Nearly 6,000 experts, including dozens from UK, say the approach is having a devastating impact on physical and mental health as well as society. They are calling for protection to be focused on the vulnerable. Continuing with COVID-19 virus, the rapidly changing rules, the three-tier system in Wales, Scotland and England and Northern Ireland. In Wales is under a national circuit breakdown from 18 hours BST time, which lasts until 9th of November, is to be placed level 4, the highest level. Scotland has announced that it will be moved to a new 5-tier system, coronavirus restrictions from Monday, 2nd of November. Northern Ireland is in the middle of 4-week restrictions. In England, Great Manchester, South Yorkshire, Lancashire and Liverpool, Nottingham are all facing the highest tier of coronavirus restrictions, Tier 3. In England, nearly 100,000 people are catching the virus every day. We are at critical stage maybe another full lockdown by mid-November. France, from Monday, people in France will only be allowed to leave the house for essential work or medical reasons. Germany is also imposing soft national lockdown. Now, we've discussed the tiers or the levels of coronavirus restrictions. I would like to just go through the levels and the tiers with you. The government is committed to ensuring the right levels of intentions in the right places to manage outbreaks. In other words, simplified by 3 local COVID alert signals. For further information, visit the government websites to ensure that your businesses follow the right rules. Now, level 1 is medium, level 2 is high alert, and level 3 is very high alert. Tier 1, 6 people from 2 households can meet outdoors. Level 2, no indoor meeting with other households. 6 people from 2 households can meet outdoors, and in hospitality settings, pubs permitted to sell alcohol indoors only with a main meal, and the restrictions may apply. Alcohol sales not permitted indoors or outdoors, that's level 3. Restaurants may be able to remain open under strict conditions. Level 4, closer to a full lockdown of the type the UK went into at the end of March, with non-essential shops being forced to close. Some outdoor meetings still allowed, and the schools will stay open. Up to 15 people at the festive season for Christmas dinner at the moment. Obviously, from now till Christmas, things can change. Continuing with news of UK, unpaid carers. Burnt out fears for exhausted unpaid carers. Many unpaid carers looking after vulnerable friends or relatives during the coronavirus crisis say they are worried about how they will cope this winter. Almost 6,000 unpaid carers completed Carers UK online questionnaire. 8 in 10 said they had been doing more with fewer breaks since the pandemic began, and 3/4 said they were exhausted. The government said it is to recognise the vital role of unpaid carers. Continuing with health, dementia. Cold mice have been tested for the prevention of dementia, and scientists say that swimming in cold water could prevent it from developing. The cold can protect the brain as it develops a specific protein and repair damage. Dozens of volunteers proved that this protein is being produced. I would also like to add that I have read in some journals that blueberries could also help with the prevention of dementia. Obviously, not on its own, as a well-balanced diet and exercise is first priority in our overall well-being. London COVID-19 UK news. Now, London Transport will issue fines to anyone not wearing masks while travelling on the buses or trains, as it has been made mandatory. Ultraviolet lights have been used and installed to clean escalators at Heathrow Tube Station. The UK mobile networks are banned and forbidden from selling locked phones from now on. From December 2021, regulator Ofcom said unlocking handsets could often be a complicated process, and this was discouraging owners from switching providers at the end of their contracts. Watchdog has noted that some companies have already abandoned the practice. News UK, Boots to offer 20-minute COVID test kits soon to be on the market for £120, and will be available in selected stores in the UK to people who are not showing symptoms. The company says the aim is to offer customers peace of mind. Anyone in the UK who think they have symptoms should stay at home and contact NHS to book a COVID test in the usual way. Continuing with UK news, first UK airport COVID-19 test for outward passengers, which can get results within 1 hour at a cost of £80. A growing number of countries have classified UK as being at risk, meaning travellers from UK face more restrictions from numerous countries. Government targets 2-week quarantine for passengers arriving at UK airports by 1st of December 2020. Continuing with UK news, Royal Mail is looking to fill a temporary seasonal jobs to a surge in online shopping during the pandemic. It aims to hire 33,000 additional workers for the Christmas period. Continuing with UK news, Lloyds Banking Group employees are to remain working from home as a result of coronavirus pandemic and to continue in doing so until spring 2021. The group said the decision was in line with guidance. Lloyds has 65,000 staff, the majority of whom are presently working remotely, but will be cutting 865 jobs as part of plans to restructure the business. A third of post office cash machines are to close also, and Visa and MasterCard have been accused of cashing in during the COVID-19 crisis by charging excessive fees. Europe's biggest bank, HSBC, could be charging products such as current accounts, which are free to UK customers, after a reported 35% fall in quarter profits. Virgin Holidays must pay refunds or face court, has been ordered to meet refund deadlines following COVID-related cancellations or face court action by the regulator. The company has agreed to pay refunds by 30th of October for any holidays cancelled before September, that is. Those cancelled last month will be refunded by 20th of November. 53,000 requests for refunds since the start of March, totalling £203 million. The company said it had 1,300 claims left to process and would be done by the end of today. Now, the UK economy and tourism. Tourism spending is set to fall in central London by £10.9 million as a result of COVID-19. The money brought in by foreign tourists is set to drop by £7.4 billion, according to the Mayor's office, whilst domestic tourism will fall by £3.5 billion. The government has announced changes to its job support scheme, accepting some sectors needed more support. New job support scheme will cover 67% of wages funded by employers and the government of people affected by the 3-tier closures. Continuing with UK news, telephones used in cars. Now, we all have mobile phones in our cars, or most of us do. We try not to answer unless, we have free handsets. But drivers are to be banned from picking up or using their mobile phones whilst driving under new legislation to be enacted next year. The charge will end a loophole that can hold drivers to escape punishment for using a handheld phone to take a photo or play a game. Mobiles will still be able to be used to pay for a drive-through takeaway and drivers will still be able to use devices hands-free under the plans the Department for Transport said. Now, energy regulator Ofgem is to introduce new rules from 15th of December to help vulnerable customers who struggle to pay their energy bills this winter. Suppliers will be required to offer emergency credit to customers who cannot top up repayment meters, and if customers are in debt, suppliers must not put them on realistic and sustainable repayment plans. In March, suppliers voluntarily agreed with the government to support people affected by the pandemic. Continuing with UK news, eye-watering charges. BT for rural broadband probed. Ofcom is to investigate why BT is quoting some people thousands of pounds to get broadband connections. It follows legislation to introduce a universal service obligation, USO for short, giving homes and businesses the right to request broadband with speed of at least 10 megabytes per second. BT's job is to assess the cost of providing a connection. It said it strongly disagrees with Ofcom's assessment of our delivery of the USO. Now, UK news with technology and agriculture. Google's parent company, Alphabet, has unveiled prototype robots that could inspect individual plants in a field to help farmers improve crop yields. The robot buggies roll through fields and upright pillars so they can coast on plants without disturbing them. The goal is to collect huge amounts of data about how crops grow. Called Project Mineral, it is part of Alphabet X company, which aims to create world-changing technology from radical moonshot ideas. Now we're coming back to coronavirus and how it's affected China. China is once again mass testing an entire city for coronavirus and a regional outbreak in Xinjiang province. Around 4.7 million people are being tested in Kashgar. In Spain has declared a national state of emergency and imposed a nighttime curfew in an effort to control a new spike of COVID-19 infections. The curfew came into effect as of Sunday night, but would be in place between 11 at night until 6 o'clock in the morning. This rule is to last for 6 days. Similar restrictions are to apply in Italy, also France. Australia, Melbourne City will exit lockdown from Wednesday after recording no new cases of COVID-19 for the first time since June. State of Victoria was the epicenter of Australia's second wave and went into lockdown 111 days ago, enforcing home confinement, travel restrictions and closing stores and restaurants. But on Monday, it was announced that the city will be ready to reopen. Another piece of worldwide news, the chairman of Samsung Group, Lee Kun-hee, died at the age of 78. He helped to grow his father's small trading company into an economic powerhouse during his lifetime with Samsung Electronics. Also became one of the biggest tech firms and the richest person in South Korea, with a net worth of nearly £16 billion. And analysts say his heirs face billions in taxes from his share assets alone and could be forced into asset sales or dividend payments in order to pay a massive inheritance bill. Continuing with worldwide news, Dyson, the entrepreneur Sir James Dyson, has agreed to sell his Singapore penthouse after only being in ownership for 1 year, has accepted an offer of £36 million from billionaire US businessman Leo Coogan for £36 million, and it's reported that is a lot less than the original purchase price. Reason being, Dyson had initially bought the penthouse and had announced he was moving Dyson headquarters to Singapore at the time. Continuing with worldwide news, New Zealand and the elections, Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has won a landscape victory in the country's general election. The poll was originally to be held in September, but was postponed a month due to COVID-19 outbreak, and it is said that she's won the election because of the way she handled the actual COVID-19 outbreak in New Zealand at the time. Another worldwide news, also in northern Cyprus, Mr. Ersin Tatar has won the presidential election in northern Cyprus on Sunday. He was elected after the collapse of the coalition government, and on 18th of October 2020, the Cambridge-educated Mr. Ersin Tatar, who had been Prime Minister of Northern Cyprus since May 2019, has now won the presidential election for the National Unity Party as the new president of the Northern Cyprus. Now, a bit of light news. Cardboard cutouts parents used at a wedding. A groom had cardboard cutouts of his fiance's parents as the coronavirus restrictions stopped them from travelling to the wedding. Her parents were due to travel from Italy, but the new quarantine rules changed last week made them result to this action, as everything was booked already. Now we've come to the part, did you know that some odd things have been sold on eBay? From a grilled cheese sandwich with the face of the Virgin Mary to Justin Timberlake's half-eaten French toast. But one of the strangest listings ever had to be for the country New Zealand. A man from Brisbane, Australia, tried to sell New Zealand off on eBay in 2006. The listing described the country as the dodgiest American Cup win ever and said it was very ordinary weather. Despite those selling points, the ridiculous auction gained a ton of interest. The starting bid was 1 cent, and after 6,000 units and 22 bids, the selling price for New Zealand climbed all the way to $3,000. Eventually, eBay caught wind of this auction and pulled it from its site. Clearly, New Zealand is not for sale, a spokesman from eBay Australia said at the time. That's all for today's programme. I would like to thank you all for watching the Zek Report with me, and I would like to also thank Druga Damach, the Canalter representative from UK. Until the next time, take care, keep safe, see you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.